Hi everyone, my name is Charlie, and this video is a bit darker than usual, simply because when I came off that ladder, it took out the lamp that I've been using to light up these videos. And for that, I can only apologise. Anyway, today, I wanted to talk about revisiting things. This comes after I reread Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix earlier this month and ended up detesting that book more than I ever have done previously. It was nothing to do with Harry's post-traumatic stress, it was nothing to do with that part of the story, the teenage angst, or any of the character changes within here. I do agree at this point in the story we're going to be having some different sort of character development, and if we look at the 7 books as a structure, for them to be getting darker and for us to be getting closer to the point of no return that we eventually reach in the 6th book, that makes sense. But personally, I do believe that this is a book that is too long and needed editing down. However, as a child, I know I was happy to have such a long book to focus on the world of Hogwarts. I also didn't like it as a child, and it has always been the book for me that I've struggled with the most because it's the one where it's just full of things that I don't necessarily like. That being said, I also rewatched the film with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jingle All the Way, the other day. Now, as a child, I really liked that film. However, we are 20 years down the line now. I have never watched that film since I first saw it, and I've always held this childhood nostalgia for it. And when I watched it, I could not stand it. I thought there were scenes in there that had me laughing, but the overall idea behind this film I thought was just completely wrong. I felt like it got absolutely everything wrong. The characters, the story, I just didn't find it believable anymore. And also, we don't need to go into the whys and wherefores of Charlie not liking a Christmas film. Then also earlier this year, I tried rereading The Tiger's Wife, and I unhauled that a few weeks ago because I know that I should have left that book with the nostalgia that I had for it, really enjoying it as one of the first adult books that I'd read and one of my first forays into that type of literature. Indeed, that is one of the books that inspired me most when I was working on a novel a few years ago, and now, having tried to reread it, I thought that the book had tried to pack too much into sentences. And again, it went down to things like the character development and just the overall story. And I'm beginning to question whether it's necessary to revisit things. I save books on my shelves if I think in future I'm going to want to reread them. And there are definitely books on here that I think that I'm really going to enjoy rereading in the future. And I keep my interest in them, and it's very rare that my interest in them is going to diminish because of this nostalgia. And I'm wondering, do I trust this nostalgic part of myself, or do I simply just agree that maybe my opinions of books are going to change as I as a person change, and that's something that I'm going to have to accept? Because for years, these are books and films that I've recommended. Indeed, there are books on my shelves that I've only read once, and then I've continued to recommend to people on this channel. And I question whether, should I revisit them now, whether I would have the same opinions. So then it becomes the question of, do we continue to recommend something that we're beginning to have doubts about? Do we recommend something we've only read once and feel nostalgia over? And over these, it's been something that I've been thinking about more often since I read Harry Potter and really just did not have the enjoyment that I'd had the last time I read that book. Because the last time I read The Order of the Phoenix, it was a book that I had hated for so much, and I hated getting to this part of the series because I knew it was going to take me the longest. But the last time I read through it really quickly and was surprised how fast it went. So I suppose it's been this case of me having to almost recalibrate things in my head to say to myself, well, it's all right that you didn't like it this time. And in terms of the books and the films, it's to say to myself, it's all right you didn't enjoy something that you haven't enjoyed in 20 years, because I think that maybe nostalgia does cause us to cause us to enjoy something more than we originally enjoyed it. But I don't know. What are your opinions on revisiting things? Do you indeed reread or rewatch films? I don't mention music here because I do tend to just like something, and if I don't like it, I just don't listen to it. And if I get into a mood for a certain type of song, so I don't think that matters here. It's just thinking about film and television. Has your opinion ever changed? Do you think it's okay for your opinion to change and still recommend something? Or do you think that we should... I don't know what. Do you have a completely different take on this? Do let me know in the comments, because I do have a lot of rambling thoughts in my head about this topic. Anyway, hopefully I can take this dressing off this evening and I won't look so much like the love child of Quasimodo. That's what I keep telling myself. I've also made jokes about tampons on my head. I keep getting words wrong as well. It's very difficult. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, that is all.